Hi and welcome to footballbook.pro. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the FBK Proline contest underneath the Contests tab in our website. The first thing I've done is I've gone ahead and clicked on the Contests tab, and you will see that we see 4 different contests. We see the Against the Spread, the Straight Up, the Suicide Pool, and the FBK Proline. So this video is for the FBK Proline, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that link. You'll see that it takes us to a page which contains the Proline over-under form. So if you'll notice that underneath the navigation of the various contests, we now have a new navigation row that shows us the Proline form, the pools form, the props form, and the point spread form. So just as a note, the Proline forms are not fully functional. I present this strictly as a preview of what's to come in terms of new contests at footballbook.pro. In week 1, the Proline, which is the Ontario Lottery sports wagering organization, has basically given a set of multipliers, we'll call them, and over-under, and for every game. Okay, so I'm recording this on the first Sunday of the NFL season 2001, and so you'll notice that it starts off with Game 2, because Game 1, the Tennessee at Pittsburgh game, has already ended, and so wagering on that is no longer available. So what you'll see is you'll see a column that says V+, which is, I believe, a victory by 8 points or more. V is a victory by 4 points or more. T is a tie, where even if a team wins by a field goal, either team wins by a field goal, it's still considered a tie. H is a home victory by 4 points or more. And H+ is a home victory by 8 points or more. And the column titled O is the over part of the over-under. The U is the under multiplier, and the number in the middle is the actual number. So if we see game number 2, we see that Jacksonville at Indianapolis has an over-under of 44.5. So if you think that only 25 points were going to be scored in that game, then you would want to take the under, and however much you bet would be multiplied by 1.6. Now there are some rules when you play this Proline style lottery or Proline style sports wagering, where you have to bet a minimum of 3 games. And then once you take, let's just say for instance I was going to bet on 2, 3, and 4, and I was going to take the under on every game. So for instance, something like this. So what it would do, and I'm going to scroll down actually to show you that at the end of all this, you would put in your wager. And allowable wagers are from 2 to 100 in increments up to 10 of increments of $1, and from there increments of $10, and then as you can see there's also a 25, and then from 50 it jumps to 100. So the maximum bet is $100. So let's just say I chose $100 just to keep the math nice and easy. We would see that if I took 1.6 and multiplied it by 1.8 and multiplied it by 1.6, so you know what, let's actually go ahead and do that. I will bring up a calculator to do this, and this will give you an idea of how a Proline style lottery works. Now this is what we have in Canada, but I would imagine that when sports wagering becomes run by state lotteries, yours will work pretty much the same thing. 1.6 times 1.8 times 1.6. Anyway, the point is, by the time you take those 3 numbers, you multiply them by each other, you come to 4.608. That means if all 3 of my bets were to win, i.e. I took the under in all of these games, I would take this 4.608 multiplied by my bet, which you'll recall is 100, and that would mean that if I won, I would win $460.80. Now, you don't have to take just unders. You can mix and match games. For instance, I might not like the over-under on this game, but I do like Detroit to lose big time. So I'll say, you know what, I actually want to go with the H plus on this game. And that would give me a multiplier of 1.4. Now, if you took Detroit to win big, that would be a victory plus. That would be a 7.5 multiplier. So you can see the likelihood of events, as the likelihood decreases, the number goes way up. And here, you know, if the home team were to win, the multiplier is just 1.2. That's not very big. But again, the likelihood, you know, is greater. So that's basically how this works. You'll pick your bets, and so like I said, on game number 3, I happen to have taken an H plus and an under, because you can do that. As long as you have a minimum of 3 bets, you can do any combination, and you might choose to go take the H plus on that game, and let's say I took the V on this one, and I like the over on this one. So then what you would do is you would just multiply 1.6 because 1.8 because that's the number on the over. So anyway, that's how you use the ProLine / over/under form. We'll go ahead and jump right to the pools form. And in pools, what you have to do is you have to pick the winner of every game. It's a pool, and it's split however number of ways, depending on how many winners there were. So let's say 5 people were perfect. Well then, if the jackpot was 500,000, then each person would win $100,000. So what you do is you just pick whichever team you think is going to win each game, and you have to enter them all. There's no passing. Now you might notice I have something called box. What a box is when you don't know who's going to win the game, you can actually choose both sides. The only thing is, every box you pick doubles the bet. So to play a pool, the cost is $5. So if you box one game, you've suddenly gone to $10. And you might say, that's not so bad, but however, if I wanted to box another game, now my bet is $20. And I box another game, now my bet is $40. And you can have a maximum of 4 boxes, and that's $80. So then you can just pick the rest of your games, and you would just go ahead and hit submit, and that's how that would work. Now let's go over to the props tab. In props, so you'll notice that this first game doesn't have any place for you to enter in your decision. And the reason for that is this game's already happened. This game was in the past, and what this means is a proposition bet is the event that something happens. So let's see, Kerry Collins, pass completions, let's say he gets 17.5. He's predicted to get 17.5. You can take the over or you can take the under. Now, and typically you'll get things like rushing yards, total receptions, fumbles lost, etc. You could have interceptions. Interceptions doesn't appear in this prop card, but it could in a different one. And this is another game. This would be the New England Buffalo. So you have Trent Edwards, pass completions, and Tom Brady, pass completions. So recall in the previous one, both of them were the same, but you know, 2 different quarterbacks would have different numbers. You should expect that. So all you're going to have to do here is pick your only choices are over or under, or you know, blank, meaning I'm not touching that bet. And then again, you would submit your wager, and this time your wager is from $2 to $100, and only the options you see in this list are valid. And you would go ahead and hit submit. And the final contest in our FBK ProLine series is the point spread. And in point spread, it's basically the same as our against the spread wagering, where the spread is included. However, ProLine, this is the government, actually comes out with their own line, and they're typically not as good as the books that you can find. Anyway, all you have to do is pick your winners. So I'll take, say, Jacksonville, because I don't think Indianapolis will cover, and I'm not saying that, I'm just making it up. And this one, maybe I'll take Philadelphia, and this one I'll take Kansas City. Now for this one I think you're allowed a maximum of 12 wagers, so even though there's 16 games, you're not allowed to bet on all 16. You can have a maximum of, you know, whatever, 12 I believe it was. And again, you enter your wager, and depending on, you know, how many you get, you'll win. And if you only bet 3 and you lose 1, well, you win nothing. And that's basically how it works. So that's about it. And again, the FBK Pro Line contest is not finalized yet, so even though you hit submit, none of your wagers will be accepted at this point. This is just a sneak preview on what's to come. Thanks.